While on a bike ride a few years ago, I took some photos of this monarch flying through the flowers. I thought the colors were just fantastic, and I just shot them with my phone. Here's one I captured with a bumblebee. Now that I'm doing polymer clay, I thought it would be cool to replicate these photos into a pendant or earrings. So sit back, relax, grab a snack, and let's get going. So to create the sky, I made a Skinner blend of 3 different colors. Sorry about the shakiness. I was trying out a new camera arm over the table. Obviously my table is too shaky. So anyway, I'm making a Skinner blend. Skinner blend is just blending colors. And I wanted to create the sky in the background. Once I get this block all set up, I'm going to put it through my pasta machine over and over and over until it's well blended. There are plenty of videos on YouTube available to show you how to do this. Here's the Skinner blend. I took a teardrop cutter, draped the clay over the cutter, and I'm gonna create a slightly concave shape using my ball stylus here. Making sure it's even throughout. I cut it out on the tile, and then I don't touch it. I leave it until I bake it. Here I'm using a slightly smaller teardrop to make a pair of earrings. And same thing, I'm coming through with my ball stylus to create this concave effect. Nice and even, and then I stick it to the tile. My Skinner blend wasn't too big, so I cut out as many as I could. Oops, didn't stick. I clean up the edges as best I can while it's on the tile, but I'll still have to sand them later. This one's a little funny looking on the inside, so I'm gonna have to put my design on the outside. Here was some leftover blue clay. I rolled it out. I used the sandpaper texture tool and used some frame cutters to create some flat pendants. I haven't made a lot of polymer clay flowers yet, so this is a learning experience for me. You'll notice in this video I try different techniques. So here I cut out little circles. I'm rolling them out on my little foam pad. And I'm pressing them down with my little homemade needle tool. I switched to a gum stimulator. This gum stimulator I got on Amazon. I'll put it down in the description. Yeah, these little sunflowers take many petals. And I made a lot of flowers for this project, so I got a lot of practice in. I'm still trying to determine what technique I like. Now for some smaller petals, I'm cutting all these circles in half. The Monarch, I made a cane. I'll link the short above. I don't have any tutorials. There are plenty of tutorials on how to make a Monarch cane on YouTube. I didn't know how mine would turn out, so I didn't film it. But I did film the result, so if you want to check that out, it's pretty cool. And I made a huge cane, so I'll have Monarchs for a long time. Everything I make will probably have a Monarch on it from here on out. Here I'm rolling out some green clay really thin, placing them on with my pin tool to create some stems. Alright, I wanted to shade my flowers, so I'm using these artistic chalks that I've had forever, ever since my scrapbooking days. Transferring these over to some baking paper. Here I've got a black so I can control it a little better. Obviously, I'm trying different ways to get these flowers done in a more efficient manner. Sorry, I'm out of frame here. I'm just putting in some shorter petals on the inside of the flowers. There we go. Okay, time to make some leaves, and for those I'm just going to use a mold. I really like this mold. It's really quick and easy. Stuff the clay in the mold, shave off the excess, press it down on a tile, and stick them on. For one of these pendants, I did try a flower mold, but I like the handmade ones better. I baked all these together. And now these teardrops need some sanding because they have some rough edges. I just used some nail files for that. Doesn't take too long. All right, here we go, more flowers. Let's see if I can pull it up. Oh, a little bit better this time. That wasn't so bad. Okay, once again, I'm rolling them out on a foam pad. I'm going to construct these flowers on a tile because they won't stick to these already baked teardrops. I'll assemble the flowers first and then I'll stick them on with Bacon Bond. I'm pretty much using the same technique as before. I'm coming through and cutting these dots into quarters so I can make some really tiny inner petals. These tiles are nice to work off of because you can pivot them to get the angle you want. Here I'm trying another technique where I'm using a ball stylus to kind of roll out the petal. But of course I need to get the hang of it. And to assemble these, I made a holder with cold porcelain air dry clay. And at the top I put some polymer clay. I'm going to shape these petals on my finger. And then place them on the tip of my holder. I'm using artistic chalks, but you can use pastels as well. Up in the corner there, the one on the right has flowers made from a mold. Now I'm coming through and putting another layer of petals on. Dusting them with color. And then putting the center of the flower in and dotting it with my dotting tool. I cut it off with a blade. And then I can stick it onto the pendant with some bacon bond. And now to add the butterfly. Next are the earrings. I already made one, so I'm going to mirror that one and have the flower facing the other direction. I'm going to use that same technique. Looks like I changed my petals again. I shaped my cutter. It was round, but I shaped it into a petal shape. So then I cut them all out and I didn't roll them out with the stylus. So I think that was easier from what I remember. Looks like for these earring flowers, I only did one row of petals. I put a little ball of brown in the center and we're good to go. Add some bacon bond, cut it off, and press it on nice and secure. I went and added another flower to the one side, so I'm going to add a flower to the second one. I'm getting a lot of flower practice in with this project. Time to add the butterflies. I'm just going to do side views for the earrings. Roll out some little bodies. All right, I have a bowl of rice and I'm gonna bake all these guys again. 270 degrees for about an hour. Oh, and I added a textured back to those flat pendants, so they need to be baked again. Now all that's left to do is drill some holes and then add some bales and ear wires. To drill a hole, I just use my little pin vise here. It's pretty simple to drill a hole in these guys. I come through on both sides. I'm going to use these pinch bales for the pendants, and I also have pinch bales for the ear wires as well. All right, so here they are. This is how they turned out. We got some earrings, a pendant, several pendants. I also have some others that I made that I didn't film. What do you guys think? They sure do remind me of my pictures. They turned out exactly what I was going for, so I'm pretty pleased with that. So that's it for me. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.